News analysis dated August 26. Displayed here are the list of news articles. We will go through today. Before getting into the discussion, hit the bell icon and do like, share and subscribe for more updates. These are all the table of contents. News article, all we discussion now to look at this article. As all we know, recently there was a major ethnic violence that happened between the Meiteis and Kuki tribal people in the state of Manipur. During the event of violence, many crimes were committed against women and children. So the victims of the crime and some social activists have filed a complaint before various police stations in Manipur, and the cases were being heard by Manipur High Court. Later, based on the demands of the victims, all the cases were transferred from Manipur Police to Central Bureau of Investigation, that is CBI. This was done to ensure the fair investigation of the cases. Recently, the Solicitor General of India, Mr. Tushar Mehta, made an application before the Supreme Court. The application sought to transfer all the pre-trial hearings of the cases from Manipur High Court to Assam, that is the Guwahati High Court. The Solicitor General indicated that judicial officers of Manipur may belong to one particular tribal community or other, so the pre-trial hearings in Manipur may cause an apprehension of bias. Citing all these reasons, the General requested the Supreme Court to transfer the pre-trial hearings to the Guwahati High Court. The Solicitor General said that Assam was chosen because it shares a land border with Manipur. So yesterday, the Supreme Court passed an order on application of the Solicitor General. The Supreme Court, as the Solicitor General has allowed the transfer of cases to Assam, and the Supreme Court also mentioned that it would transfer back the cases to Manipur High Court if the state returns to their normalcy. This is all about the news article. So in our discussion today, we will understand the powers of Supreme Court in transferring the cases and appeals. As we all know that Supreme Court is the highest judicial body in our country, and it has the largest authority regarding the administrative functions of all its subordinate court, which includes High Court and the district courts. And the Supreme Court is also vested with a wide discretionary powers to transfer any cases from one High Court to other. See, this power of Supreme Court is provided under a section 406 of CRPC 1973. As per this section, a Supreme Court can make any such order to transfer any specific cases or appeal or any matter that is pending before one High Court to another High Court. See, this power is given to Supreme Court to ensure the principle of fair and equitable justice. Okay, now comes the questions. Who can make the application for the transfer of the cases? See, the application can be moved by any person who suspect that there is a unfair action in the court, or he or she may not find proper justice. The application can also made by the Attorney General or Solicitor General of India. On receiving the application, the Supreme Court will hear the concerns of the applicants. During such hearing, this applicants should always reasonably substantiate these contentions regarding the application. After the hearing, the Supreme Court may pass the orders on the transfer of cases from High Court to other. Here have to note, the Supreme Court is not obligated to transfer the cases when it receives the application on such matters. It is that discretion of Supreme Court decides whether to transfer the cases or not. Okay, that is all regarding this discussion. In this discussion, we saw the powers of Supreme Court to transfer cases from one High Court to other to ensure the equitable justice. Okay, with this, let us conclude the discussion and take up the next news articles. Now take a look at this editorial article. See, one of the significant outcomes of 15th BRIC summit is that the addition of new membership. Recently, 6 new members, that is Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates were given the memberships in the BRICS grouping. Their membership will take effect on 1st January 2024. The editorial here highlights the performance of the BRICS and the negative implication of the expansion of the BRICS. See, as per yesterday, we discussed elaborately about the significance of adding new members to the BRICS grouping. So before looking at the negative implications, I suggest you to watch yesterday's daily news analysis. It will give you a holistic understanding about the BRICS expansion. Now in today's discussion, we will mainly focus upon the negative implications of the BRICS expansion. See, already the members of the BRICS like China, India are in conflict mode. This is mainly due to bilateral issues like border clashes, unbalanced trade, territorial claims and etc. These issues currently affect the functioning of the BRICS as a whole. Bilateral issues between India and China is creating differences rather than consensus. While taking important decisions in BRICS, so it is said that bilateral issues between India and China has slowed the functioning of the BRICS. If this is the case, the BRICS has added Iran, Saudi Arabia and UAE to join the BRICS. As we all know that there is a rivalry between the Iran and Saudi Arabia and Iran and UAE. This is because of ideological, political and religious differences. So adding them to BRICS further slow down the performance of the BRICS rather than increasing the performance. This is the first negative implications of the membership addition. Secondly, the new addition might anger the Western powers, mainly United States, who has been our ally for quite some time. See, already BRICS is seen as a forum to counter the US-led G7 grouping, and as we all know that Iran is a rival of US, so adding Iran to BRICS grouping will further project to the world that BRICS is politically anti-Western or anti-US. This will further create tensions to countries like India, Saudi Arabia, Egypt and UAE, who are currently maintaining a friendly relationship with United States. This is the second negative implications. Finally, as many countries are added to the BRICS grouping, there is a possibility that China might attempt to overpower the BRICS grouping with its strategic and economic vision. This is because China is currently aspiring to become a world superpower. So China's superpower ambition might endanger the strategic autonomy of the BRICS members. These are some of the negative implications of the BRICS expansion that is mentioned in this editorial article. Okay, so to conclude, the BRICS should make sure that it will work based on the principle of shared prosperity and will also allow more democratic model of global governance. This will attract more members to the grouping and will help in effective functioning of the grouping. So with this, let us conclude this discussion. See, yesterday we covered the significance of the addition of addition, and we saw the negative implication. If you combine both, you will get a whole stick picture and a whole listing understanding about the recent membership expansion of the BRICS. So with this, let us conclude the discussion and take up the next news article. Take a look at the editorial article. This editorial talks about the greening of economy. The context become this editorial is that our Prime Minister recently in his Independence Day speech mentioned that India is showing the world that how to combat climate change. He also maintained the climate action cannot be adopted by compromising economic development. The editorial here talks about what is green energy paradigm, how greening of economy can be done in rural areas, and the steps that the government must take to encourage the greening of economy. So in this context, in our discussion today, let us quickly learn about what is greening of the economy, the challenges associated with it, and helps that government must take to green the economy. Before getting into the discussion, I have highlighted the syllabus regarding this discussion. You can go through it first. What is greening of economy or what is green economy? See, development often harms the environment. For example, cutting down of rainforest for coal mining in Assam, and focusing only on the environment can slow down the progress. For instance, there is a valuable green energy source called methane hydrate in Krishna Godavari, but mining it could leads to the problem while ground collapses and threatens. See, the greening of economy or green economy paradigm is an idea that aims to balance both the development and environment. It wants to find ways to grow economically while also taking care of the nature. It tries to make choices that benefit both our needs and planet's health. This new approach is all about finding ways to make our world better by using resources wisely and taking care of the environment. It's like a plan for doing things in a way that helps nature, reduces pollution, and make sure there is enough for everyone now, also in the future. This is about green economy paradigm. Now let me help you understand by providing some examples. Let us take the electric cars. By adapting electric cars and building more electric charging stations, more jobs will be created, which will help the economy. In addition to this, if these electric vehicles are powered using renewable resources like solar pack, it will also aid in combating climate change. Here, development is coupled with climate action. And next, take a millet cultivation. Millet are hardy and climate resilient crops. In addition to this, millets have less carbon footprint compared to the rice. In recent times, with the increasing awareness about health benefits of the millets, farmers can make good profits by cultivating and selling the millets. So millet cultivation aids in economic development of the farmer and also conserves the environment. These are some examples of greening of the economy or green economy paradigm. Okay, but adopting this has certain problems. There are some hurdles in adopting the green economy paradigm. Now let us see them one by one. First hurdle is that lack of awareness about the advantages of greening of the economy. Then there is the issue of cost. See, green technologies and the practice often require initial investment that can be very expensive and very expensive, and this can be challenging for the government or businesses or individuals, mainly in the developing countries. Then there is the issues of skill mismatch. And see, the workers in the traditional sectors like fossil fuels might need to learn new skills for the green job that will be developed by adopting green technology. Providing new skills will take some time. Finally, there is the issue of behavioral change. Shifting to a green economy often requires a change in the behavior and consumption pattern. This transition can be hard for people who are accustomed to the traditional base. See, these are some of the challenges associated with adopting green economic product. The author of the editorial here provides some steps that can be taken by the government to address these hurdles. Now let us see the steps mentioned by the author. The first one is using existing government program. Takes the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. For example, through the program, the government provides a collateral free loan for micro entrepreneurs. Through the scheme, government can extend loan to the small businesses that adopt green technology. Then take the Pradhan Mantri Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises scheme. This scheme provides support for adoption of technology among the micro food enterprises. Through the scheme, the government can help the food processing units adopt the green technology like solar dryers, energy efficient multipurpose food processor, or a solar grain mill. Finally, take the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. Through this program, government can help the fishing community adopt green technology like solar refrigerators and solar trailers. Like this, existing government programs can be slightly modified to help people adopt a green technology. Secondly, the author talks about ensuring large-scale financing from the banking institutions. To ensure the large-scale financing from the banking institutions, support must be provided to them by the government. needs to help a bank understand and assess the clean technology projects for financing. See, traditional banks might not have experience with such new and innovative projects, so they need support from the government to evaluate if the green technology is a good investment or not. Government can also help reduce the risk of the bank by providing guarantee for the part of the investment made by the banks. Additionally, government needs to work closely with the bank to design the loans in such a way that both the banks and the people adopting green technology will earn at the same time. In this way, more money can be invested in green technology solutions. This will also fast forward the adoption of green technology and helps in the greening of the economy. Okay, finally, the author mentions about a partnership that must be created between the people involved in green technology, like inventors, manufacturers, retailers, and bank. The author mentions about a complete system from top to bottom. This means distributors must work with the manufacturers to make sure technology reaches the customers. The service providers must make sure that customers get help even after they buy the product. Then the people in marketing must make sure that green tech products must reach the right consumers, and the bank must also properly identify the potential entrepreneurs for adopting green technology. This can be made sure only if all the stakeholders cooperate with each other. For example, some companies that make solar dryers don't just sell the dryers, they also help the customers to get loans to buy the dryers. Yes, and they also buy the dried food from the customer. This kind of teamwork makes faster adoption of green technology. Okay, so that's all regarding this discussion. In this discussion, we saw what is greening of economy or green economy. Then we saw the challenges in greening of the economy, and finally we saw 3 steps mentioned by the author in this editorial, that will help in the faster adoption of green technology or the faster greening of the economy. So that's all regarding this discussion. Now with this, let us conclude this discussion and take up the next news article. Look at this editorial article. This editorial is about the recently concluded 2023 Chess World Cup. The 2023 Chess World Cup took place in Baku, Azerbaijan. It was the 10th edition of the Chess World Cup. It was conducted from 13th July 2020 to 24th August 2023. Around 206 players from different countries have participated in this tournament. Magnus Carlsen, who is a Norwegian chess player, came at the top of the tournament. At the final match, he defeated the 18-year-old Pragnananda, who is a chess player from Chennai. See, Magnus Carlsen is a 5-time World Cup champion, and this is his first Chess World Cup. Here you have to note that World Chess Championship is different from the Chess World Cup. This is the essence of the editorial given here. Now, why is this editorial important? Recently, UPSC has started asking sports related current affairs questions in prelims examination. For example, in 2023 UPSC they were a question about chess Olympiad. Now, why did UPSC ask this question? This is because the 2022 chess Olympiad was conducted in Chennai, and it also appeared frequently in news. Likewise, the 2023 chess World Cup is also important current affairs topic for the next year's prelims examination. This is because one of the finalists of the game was from India. So UPSC might ask the question about 2023 Chess World Cup in the forthcoming prelims examination. That is what makes the editorial important. Now we will see some of the points about Chess World Cup. And the Chess World Cup is a major chess event in the club until 2002. World Cup was conducted under different names at different times, but from 2000 the World Cup event was formalized, and it is being organized by the International Chess Federation. Currently, the event is being organized once every 2 years until 2005. The Chess World Cup had been played by 128 participants, but in 2021 the number of participants increased from 128 to 206. So now the World Cup is played by 206 players. Note that from 2005 the Chess World Cup has been acting as a qualifying event for the World Chess Championship. This means that some of the top players of the Chess World Cup have been chosen to take part in the World Chess Championship. This is about the Chess World Cup. As he mentioned about the International Chess Federation. Now we will see some important points about this organization. The International Chess Federation was founded in Paris on July 20, 1924. Despite being founded in Paris, it is now headquartered in Switzerland. Note that the founding day of the federation, that is July 20, is annually celebrated as the International Chess Day. The International Chess Federation is the commonly referred as FIDA, known that FIDA is a French acronym for the term Federation internationally. FIDA act as a governing body of the International Chess Championship. Chess World Cup and the World's Chess Championship, know that motto of FIDE is where we are one family. That's all regarding this discussion. Just to revise the facts that we discussed here, so that will help you in the prelims examination. Okay, now this let us conclude this discussion and take up the next news article. Look at this article. This article is about Chandrayaan-3 mission. The article here highlights the various points that are relevant for the examination. Now let us understand the points mentioned in this article in detail. First, let us understand what is the near side and far side of the moon. The near side in the far side of the moon refers to the two hemispheres of the moon are seen from the earth. Their near side is the side of the moon that is always facing the earth, and the far side is a side that is not visible from the earth. See, the moon is tidally locked, which means that the moon's rotation period is same as its orbital period around the earth. This results in same side of the moon always facing the earth and the opposite side always facing away from the earth. This is why we see only the near side of the moon from the earth. Okay, the far side of the moon is also called the dark side, but you have to note here that dark side of the moon also receives the sunlight during the new moon phase, when moon is present between the sun and the earth. The far side or dark side of the moon receives the full sunlight, as you can see in this image given here. So basically far side of the moon is called dark side, not because it receives no unlight, but because it is a least explored side of the moon, and the far side of the moon was not visible to humans until spacecrafts were sent to explore it. The Soviet Union's Lunar 3 mission in 1959 captured the first images of the far side of the moon, and subsequent missions have provided more detailed mapping and images of the far side. Astronauts in the Apollo 8 mission of 1968 were the first humans to see the far side of the moon. Now, how is the dark side of or the far side of the moon different from the near side? See, the near sea, the primary distinction between the two lunar side lights in the physical characteristic. The near side has smoother surface with expansive volcanic plains compared to the far side, but in the far side there are craters spanning thousands of kilometers. This is due to the collision with the asteroids. Over time, although the near side also has some craters created by asteroid collisions, extensive volcanic lava flow have effectively filled up the craters. This has given rise to a widespread plains in the near scene. These plains on the near side offer a more favorable setting for space missions. This topographical advantages proves beneficial for space landers and rovers, as they can operate relatively well on the level playing ground. This is why a mission like Chandrayaan have opted to explore the near sea. Another factors that influence the decision of the Chandrayaan was the necessity of maintaining direct line of sight communication with Earth. See, a landing on moon's far side would have lead to a lack of direct communication. So To address this, this is a relay system, like an orbiter is needed to bridge the gap. Now you may ask me about Chandrayaan-2 orbiter. Yes, Chandrayaan-2 orbiter is still active and it could have been repurposed as a yearly. However, this would have required reorienting the Chandrayaan-2's orbit, moving it further away from the moon and introducing delays up to half a day in transmitting and receiving data from the Pragyan rover. This practical consideration resulted in the choosing a landing site on the near side of the moon itself. So these are the two factors that resulted in the choosing the near side of the moon for landing the Chandrayaan-3 mission. Okay, see, until now China's Chang'e 4 lander is the only one have to successfully landed on the far side of the moon. Okay, see, safer options, there are some things that are special about this mission. Chandrayaan-3 has positioned its Vikram lander a mere 600 km away from the south pole of the moon's near side, and this is the closest any mission has been to the moon on the south pole. This region of the moon is called permanently shadowed region, where sunlight never reaches this region. Is important from a scientific point of view, that as there is more possibility of encountering frozen water ice in this region. But you have to note here that Vikram lander is not placed in the fully shadowed region. This is because the lander is solar powered and it needs sunlight to carry out its operation. So that's all regarding this discussion. In this discussion we understood about the near side and far side of the moon. Then we saw the 2 points that were taken into consideration in choosing the near side or for landing the Chandrayaan-2 lander. Finally, we saw the special attributes of the Chandrayaan-3 mission. And now with this, let us conclude the news article discussion session. Take up a practice problem questions. We have 4 practice problems questions. Let us see them one by one. Let us take up the first question. Arjun Ergigis, Domaraju Gukesh, Vidit Gujaratis are affiliated with which of the specific sport means chess. See, please take down these names given here because we can expect a question regarding the chess in our next prelims examination. Okay, now moving on into the next practice question. Based on the BRICS discussion, so take up the first statement. Chairmanship of BRICS rotates annually on the English alphabet of the first letter of the member countries. This statement is incorrect, and the chairmanship of the BRICS rotates annually based on the acronym BRICS and not based on the English alphabet. So statement 1 is incorrect. Moving on to the second statement. Asian Development Bank was established based on the agreement of BRICS nation. This statement is incorrect. It is actually New Development Bank which was established based on the agreement of BRICS nation. Okay, now moving on into the third statement. So far India has chaired BRICS grouping only twice. This statement is also incorrect. India has chaired the BRICS grouping 3 times till now. India has chaired on 2012, 16 and 2021. Since all the statements given here are incorrect, the correct statement here is option D, none. Moving on into the next question here. 3 statements are given. We have to find how many the statements are representing the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Let us take a first statement. As a dispute between the government of India and one or more states, this statement is correct. It is one of the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Moving on to the second statement. A dispute regarding the election to either house of the parliament or that of the legislature of the state. The statement is incorrect because the election disputes can also be heard in the respective high court in the state. So it is not the exclusive original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Moving on into the third statement. A dispute between the 2 or more states, this falls under the exclusive original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Since only 2 statements given here are correct, the correct answer here is option B, only 2. Moving on into the last question. This question is based on the our Chandrayaan-3 discussion. It is assertion reasoning question. Look at the first statement. Only one side of the moon is visible to us, Earth. This statement is correct. Only one side of, that is near side, is always visible to the Earth moving Moving on to the second option statement, moon moves around the earth in about 27 days and takes actually the same time to complete one spin. Actually this statement mean that moon is tidally locked with earth. Okay, this is why the moon takes the same number of days to complete the one revolution around around the earth, and same number of days to complete the one rotation in its own axis. This is the reason why from the earth we can only see one side of the moon, that is the near side of the moon. Since the statement 2 is incorrect, also correctly explains the statement 1. This correct answer is option A. Both statement 1 and 2 are correct. Statement 2 is correct explanation for the statement 1, and the mains question based on today's discussion is displayed here. Interested aspirants can write and post your answer in the comment section. If you like your today's video, like, comment and share with your friends. For more updates regarding UPSC preparation, subscribe to UPSC IAS channel. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Thank you.